right. Hey, it is Tuesday, January 6th, just on my way to work. Welcome to another episode of just me rambling while I get to work. Just trying to improve my life, Been on this journey for, I don't know, maybe 6 months now. Haven't really, since August, around August. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I've noticed some like tiny changes, but then something bad happens and it kind of reverts back to me and it just it's hard to keep consistent change. Consistency is really the name of the game to building and compounding days is how you really make significant changes in your life. But I have improved my mindset a lot. I know I'm going in the right direction and path, and I want that for you too. I want to just be about high vibrations. And something I read about the other day was about prayer and how you kind of have to almost look at prayer as if you're a dog howling at the moon. And it just kind of, and I really like that analogy. And it also kind of reminded me of like manifestation. If you ever went down I know manifestation, at least for me, and maybe because it's the algorithm that I'm in. I see a lot of manifestation stuff lately, and I know it's probably talked about a lot. But yeah, there's like an emotion behind it, obviously. So like if you we all like have heard affirmations and saying different things and want good things in our life, but if the emotion behind it is just like kind of desperation or just kind of more lower vibes, lower consciousness vibes, then you're not gonna have a high probability of that manifesting in your life. Like manifestation takes some like a very grounded and positive emotion like gratitude to really kind of change and help things happen for you and put you in the right we call frequency, to recognize opportunities and for opportunities kind of be brought to you, because of that frequency that you're carrying with you at all times. And it's tough, because we're around low vibe people, we're around low vibe content, low vibe, low frequency, music, low frequency TV shows, movies. Um, you know, so it's tough to kind of you ingest a whether it be a song or a movie that's very negative kind of in taste and frequency, that's going to bring your overall vibe down. And so that's something that I also kind of want to try like a little trial is really just cut out almost all music except like really high positive high frequency music, not even music but just like maybe like yeah, music, but like classical music or something, something that they like, they say Beethoven or Bach or Mozart help babies' brains develop. Maybe there's something to that even as an adult brain, and that if you really kind of surround yourself with that type of frequency, it could raise your vibes overall. But anyway, back to that analogy of the wolf howling at the moon. It's what I like about it is because I think when we hear that wolf howling at the moon, and I kind of think about manifestation, there's emotion behind that dog, howling. Like we can, at least for me, like when you hear that noise, that howling, you feel emotion inside you, right? Like at least I do. Uh, and and I feel like prayer should be like that too. You know, there should be emotion behind that prayer, but the emotion I think you have to be careful with is shouldn't be negative. It shouldn't be low vibe. And there's that famous David Hawkins chart. I think it's David Hawkins, yeah, where he has like the map of consciousness, and I encourage you to look up that if you haven't already. But yeah, I mean, it has basically the different emotions and the frequency they're at, and really like high vibes start at courage. It starts at this 200 level. I think it's all kind of this map of consciousness is obviously, I don't know, it's subjective, right? It's made by a human, but I think that there's definitely a lot of truth behind it. For me, at least, that's my opinion. And I think that yeah, it starts at courage, like as far as having high vibes. And so keep that in mind. When you're praying, courage, love, neutrality too is considered a high frequency, high vibe. Neutrality just means that you're okay with whatever, almost like, like if something happens, okay, fine, I'll deal with it, I'll get better for it. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect how you look at yourself. No matter what bad things happen to you, it doesn't. You're not taking it personal, and if you do take it personal, you get kind of find your baseline pretty quickly, and you learn from it. You take something from it. I think too often when some things like bad things happen to us, it takes a long time for us to recover. I mean, if it's like something trivial, then maybe not, but like just something like real, like, if you're going through a heartbreak, for example, it's not something that you wanted. So, obviously you're feeling bad about it because you weren't expecting it, or it's not how it, maybe you were expecting it a little bit, but it's still just not how you anticipated or wanted the relationship to go. And then you kind of get in this, funk, and how long takes to get out of that funk is it really just kind of measures, how resilient you are as a person. And so I think if you can build that resiliency and build just a positive vibe overall, get that baseline frequency up as much as possible, and that's really going to be kind of where you want to pray from. And yeah, I mean, we can all be grateful when we get into bed late at night, but are you grateful during the day? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you grateful when something bad happens? Like, it's kind of the difference between someone who's successful and who's not. They look at bad things happening to them as an opportunity. As someone that's successful. How can I use this to my favor? What can I learn from this? Whereas the opposite is true for someone that's struggling. It's like, oh, happened again. Of course, destined to fail. And trust me, man, that's an emotion I've felt a lot, and I'm trying to like shed from my life, man. Like, I don't want to live there. I really don't. I really don't. And unfortunately for me, my neural pathways are maybe created like any kind of an addiction to this cycle and this loop, and it's hard for me to break. But I'm on this journey to break it. I'm going to do what I can. That's why I'm showing up today. That's why keep showing up to make videos. I have to. I have to get better, and that's just. I feel like that's how we achieve the meaning of life, is just to get better and to find our highest conscious self, to find our highest self, and to really put out as much high vibes as you can out there in life, and to help others, help yourself. A lot of times we have to help ourselves before we can truly help others, because we're just trauma. You don't want trauma helping trauma. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. Again, man, these videos sometimes go a lot quicker than I ever expect. I hope this was meaningful to you. I really appreciate every view that I get. So thank you so much. And I really, wish nothing but blessings and love to you. Peace out. See you next time.